Welcome to the Tearing It Up podcast. I'm your host, Taryn. We'll be tearing it up, tearing it down, and tearing it apart, dissecting all things related to those who deviate from the standard. From leaders of their industry to leaders of mediocrity, and maybe a gear review or two thrown in. We shoot the shit and let the conversations flow, so if that's not your style, this may not be for you. Otherwise, listen in. Hope to light a fire in you somehow.
Oh, Brett. Oh, I'm not hooked up to my hotspot, which I normally am, so hopefully the connection stays all good and gravy, but since we actually have some sun here now and weather, hopefully our little satellite internet thing holds through for me. But man, I really don't even know. Oh, I do want to say, okay, don't want to start this off in like a somber way, but I almost forgot about this. One of our loyal listeners, who's a friend of mine here, her father just passed away suddenly in a like kind of a freak accident. Like not a freak accident because those kinds of things do happen around here, but being that it's like June, it was kind of out of the season where this thing happens normally. And I don't want to divulge too much information just because I just want to respect privacy of the person and everything right now. But it just made me so sad because I love her and just such a sudden loss to the family. And she does have a GoFundMe that I might link in the show notes. Just like I said, it was just such a sudden loss for her family. And because I know that she was just a loyal listener of ours, I just wanted to send all the love and thoughts and all of that out to her and her family right now. And we love all of you guys out there.
Yeah, we do.
We do. Just appreciate every little love note you send and anytime you listen. And I have people message like, oh my gosh, I'm listening to the latest right now. And whatever the note it is, whether it's resonating or just felt like sharing that they were listening. We love hearing that so much. And we just love all of you out there so much who support us. And yeah, I just wanted to put that out there to the universe. And like I said, sending love and healing and anything that I can through energy to this family. But she knows who she is. If she listens to this, it'll probably be a while before she's doing that, but still.
My heart is with her and everyone who knew her dad, because losing a pillar like that is absolutely devastating. And yeah, I feel the pain.
Yeah, you know it very well. So I know that you can definitely feel that and be empathetic as ever towards it. I mean, that you always are, but yes, so like I said, and for anyone else out there going through just any kind of hard time or anything like that, it's not much to say like, oh yeah, healing thoughts, energy, vibes, or whatever with you, but that's kind of all most of us can do. And so yeah, if you're in some rough times, like, people are there, and just know, like we've said before, that you can reach out if you need a friend to talk to in real life. We are here, we are human, and we are definitely there to support our friends. So don't ever hesitate.
We get broken, but we pull it through, and life is so hard.
It is. I mean, we get broken emotionally, mentally, physically, and I'm feeling a little bit physically broke right now because I crashed my bike today. So that's why it really might be kind of a short and sweet for real this time, even though we always say that, because it's 5:30 now, and I went out on a ride this morning. It happened at like 9 a.m. And it was just so dumb. Like, I went out, so we talked about, going out by ourselves, right? When the alternative is not going at all. And so I've been riding a lot, and I've been going out a lot. And I always say I hate riding alone because I ride very differently, more timidly. So I don't feel like my downhill progresses very well when I ride alone. And I don't have as much fun as when I ride with other people. But in this instance, okay, on one hand, I feel like, yeah, it would have been nice to have someone there just in case things were worse, or just for a little bit of morale and support. But I don't think that in this situation, anything would have changed if I was with somebody because of I wasn't like feeling super confident about myself and like, oh, I'm gonna send it off this and whatever. I actually was like coming up to a rock, like a big rock to like go off of, and I didn't really see a ride around route. Like they're clearly like you could obviously go around it, but it didn't look like a heavily used ride around, albeit the trail I was on, like a lot of people who do it, like they do hit everything. So there might not be a lot of riding around this feature, but because it didn't look like to me a huge amount of traffic going around it, I thought, oh, maybe it's just a rollover. So I roll up the rock and quickly realize this is not a fucking rollover. This is a gap, and I have no speed. I'm on top of this rock now, and this is going to be really bad because I'm just going to go like nosedive off this motherfucker into the ground. And I was just so terrified too, because I felt, it's one of those things that we've talked about this before too, like when you get some air and you think you just got 10 feet or something and it's like an inch off the ground. And for me, it felt like I was fully like upside down. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so scared I'm gonna land straight on my fucking head and neck right now. So I just tried to like tuck my head as far as I could, and I landed on my shoulder, but it felt like the rest of my body like landed on that. So I just felt like my back like really kind of compressed there, and I definitely like got up like heaving, like like wind knocked out. Yeah, wind knocked out of me and everything, and just like, oh my God, it was everything like functioning, moving, like I can breathe, I can like get up, but like definitely took my time like getting off the ground and collecting my things. Like, well, my glasses and my what's that?
I'm glad you're okay, because like your face right now looks like you got stung by a bee. It is just like so much bigger than your other side and swollen. That was a hard one.
Yeah, it was. And like I knew it, like I felt it. I wasn't really sure if I'd have too much marks to tell. Like I mean, my face hurt. Like I have a couple scratches. It's hard to kind of see in the video because it's far away. But and so like I got my phone out after I caught my breath, and I had some water and a couple of fruit snacks. I was like, just okay, take your fucking time. You don't need to rush down, because immediately my response is like, oh my God, like, should I text Andrew right now and just tell him that I got hurt? And I was like, no, because he is gonna like then worry. And I'm at the beginning of the fucking trail. I'm like right at the start of the downhill. And it's like, there's no like reason, like texting anyone or calling anyone right now isn't going to do anything unless I actually need help down. So just take a second and know that like I can get down. I'm just going to take a lot of time as long as my bike's okay and everything. And I'm just going to go real fucking slow. Luckily at this time of year right now, it's not super busy. I wasn't worried about like too many people coming up on me. And even if they did, like I would have made it very clear that I was like pretty hurt. And so anyway, yeah, I felt my like that I had hit my face. I got my phone out and kind of looked so I could see like what the damage was. It was a little bit red and some scratches, and it didn't seem swollen or anything to me until just right before we popped on here. I went to the bathroom and saw myself in the mirror. I was like, oh my God. And my first thought was like, can I talk? Because like I haven't been talking. Like, can I move my jaw? It's my jaw. Like, what exactly is swollen? That's what I just don't. It's just my fucking face. It is my face, my like my cheek,
or just like your skin, because like as lightly grazed as the like scratches on your face are, your face is a sensitive spot, man.
Yeah, like, totally. It doesn't take a lot of hits like that unless you're like a boxer.
Yeah, for real. Unless you got tough skin, like literal tough skin.
Yeah. So the ride down, needless to say, was slow and steady, and I definitely was groaning on the way down, like in some sections, like going over other rocks or something. It was like, oh, because there's like my back that hurt so much. And then I missed this turn off to the trail I wanted to go down. And so I think the trail I ended up going down was even rockier, and then I ended up on this fire road. that had just like a few huge like puddles to go through. And then at one point there's a tree falling over that I had to climb over. So I'm like barely like lifting my bike over, like literally lift my front tire over and then like and like let it go, step over myself and like pull the rest of the bike over. And then it's like for 100 yards, like literally the road is just a stream coming down. So I'm just walking my bike through this little like creek up the road. But I was like, okay, I'm close to getting to the point of intersection where the trail I wanted to go down was. And it's funny, at the beginning, like right after my fall, I was like, so this trail, you go down a couple different trails and then it meets at this junction and you go up again. It meets up with this trail that I do often a short loop at. So there's a little bit more of like a flowy trail, then a climb again, and then you can go down. And I was like, yeah, I'll finish it out. I think I can make the climb up and I'll ride down the second portion. And then as I'm like starting to ride, I was like, what the fuck? Like, because my other option is then just going down the fire road, like back to the truck. Yeah. And yeah, as I'm starting to ride and like getting off my bike a couple times to like reset and like to have a breath, I was like, yeah, why the fuck would I even dare climb right now to go down further and like just clog up the trail at that point when I'm like making this conscious choice to go down a trail that I know I'm hurt on, whereas like right now it's like I have to get down. So if I'm in that other section of the trail is very popular like all the time. So yeah, I was just like, I can't believe I even thought that I would do that part.
Well, when you get the shit knocked out of you, I don't know, you know what I mean, like your whole system's all rattled off. How many more miles did you have after you crashed to get fully out?
Probably 4, because it was like a 9-mile hole. No, probably more than that. Because looking at my map, the climb I think was only 3 miles, and the overall trail I did was 9.2 miles. So, but I don't know how far down I was. Yeah. So about 5 miles, I think, is a safe bet to say.
Guess it.
Which
That's
is
a
like
lot when you're rocked. When your world is rocked.
Totally. I just kept thinking like, do I have a concussion? Like because I was thinking like, I hit my like the side of my face a little bit, but that was also like, did that happen like after the main hit and kind of like drag my face a little or something, or like how much of the hit did my head and face take? But I've definitely felt like a little bit out of it since I finally got home. Like it took a while because I definitely feel like I had like some shock and adrenaline, whatever, just to get down. And then I went and I got a coffee and then I took a shower. And I feel like after a while of then like sitting, and I mean I've been working and been fine, but I still feel like a little loopy. Like I don't know, just kind of out of it where I'm like, okay, I am just ready to like lay down. I don't feel tired. Because I was thinking like, I don't know if I should like, close my eyes or anything, but I just feel like, my whole body wants to just lay down and I could just like count the stars if they were out.
Yeah.
But
I'm really glad you're okay.
Yes, thank you. Me too.
And that could have been way worse. Jumps in front of you,
yeah, especially if you don't know they're there. And so it's so dumb because I was just like, okay, I haven't been on the trail at all this year, and I know there's a lot of these features on this trail, so like just ride around everything, take a look, because especially this trail and
session it, baby.
Exactly.
If you don't know what's coming up.
Exactly. Or just ride
don't
around
fuck around and find out. That hurt.
Yep. And so on the ride up, like it was like an hour climb. So like, I'm getting towards the top, and I was just thinking about how, the Sturdy Dirty's coming up in like 3 weeks, I think it is. And
oh my gosh.
So it's the 8th, and I was like, well, fuck, I'm not going to arrive until the 5th, and I'll be driving all day. So really my only chance to ride the course before the race would be the 6th. And I was like, but that's kind of a lot back to back because it's a really big climb. Yeah. And I mean, I can take my time for sure, but it's like, do I really want to spend all day on the 6th, which is my birthday? Like,
yeah, I was gonna say, isn't that your birthday?
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to really spend all day up there alone, like inspecting the course and whatever, but I really don't want to ride it blind. So I was just trying to think of like, how can I maybe I can do the drive like a couple days earlier and, just work from up there until the time off that I like have is because I was just like, I thought I was going to do it that way, just like whatever, just fucking do it blind. And then now after this I'm like, well, that's not going to be any fucking fun. Like if I'm trying to do a race, like how the hell
especially on your birthday, that is something to freaking, you love your birthday, dude. It is a time to celebrate.
Yeah, I used to love it. Like now I don't care too much about it because there's just everyone's always working and it's always a busy
Taryn,
holiday.
you sound so old.
I know, I do. But like since I've been
I love your birthday.
Thank you. I feel like since I've been down here and everyone's just, it's so busy because it's the 4th of July weekend that feels like it's hard to do anything. But yeah, again, after driving 12 hours one day and then the next day trying to go like on this major bike ride, like I don't think that's going to be conducive. And then just to do that same ride like a day later basically. So I was like, okay, I'll get on the Facebook group and try and ask for all this beta and things, and I'm like, yeah, I have got to like do a ride of this course and yeah, walk the sessions or something multiple times, but I got to see it at least once before, otherwise I feel like what's the point in racing it? I'm gonna like just not do anything, not hit anything.
I can't believe that there's some people who just like dry race a course. You know what I mean? Just like go and do it without even knowing or looking at. I don't know.
There's a lot of people coming from out of town, so I was thinking like I cannot be the only one who can't ride it beforehand. And I'm sure there's many people, but that's also probably not ideal and also like not, their choice. Like, they may not have the option to leave earlier and go ride it or anything, but getting back on my bike, at least, like I said, at first I just kind of freaked out for a second. I had to calm myself down and be like, okay, like you're going to get down and it's going to be fine. And don't worry about how fast you get down. Because I've definitely gotten in my head before when things like that have happened of just like, you just want to get down, you just want to be done. And you can just get miserable, and especially if you're going to get lost or end like just so many things. And I just feel like I kept a really calm and like collected head, at least in a good attitude for like how I have reacted in the past. So I was just like, I have no choice and I'm not going to get lost. Like maybe if I took a wrong turn, one direction, like I know I'm at least going to end up somewhere and I'm not like people are around and like I said, I'm moving and I can ride. So like,
just get out safe. Let's focus on safety.
Yeah.
Not speed, but also speed, but more importantly, safety.
Totally. That's where it was like some sections, like after I'd just be like, okay, like I fucking am not breathing right now because I'm like clenched. And so I'd just like get off and be like, okay, yep, I need a second here. But yeah, so that was my morning and I haven't had a crash in a long time and I haven't had a crash this bad in years, so there's that. I was talking to my brother a little bit and we were just talking about like, yeah, when you get older, like it definitely gets harder to take these hits. But I mean, it's always hard to take them, but especially like when you don't take them often or anything. But all I could think about too was the fact that I do like work out and train, like just strength train and all that, and how good that is for your body when it comes to injuries, because you can, well, obviously depends on the injury, but like most likely recover better. Your body has just more, is used to more
muscle
like
memory.
Recovery.
And more of a muscle shell.
More protection around your skeleton with muscle and stuff, that like not working out injuries can be far worse. And that's why also just like the general public who, I'm not saying you need to go fucking downhill mountain biking, but as we age and you simply fall, like that's why
twist
older
your
folks
ankle.
get
Like,
hurt so bad. Yeah, exactly. And you can't recover because your body's not like used to it. Because my brother was talking about how he just took a step on the sidewalk, just like not looking in the sidewalk was like caved in. And so like he went down and he thought he was gonna just like his back was gonna go out. He like lets out a yelp and like it's like, yeah, you know, if he didn't work out and wasn't an active person, that actually could have fucked him up. I mean, my mom has stepped off the curb and broke her fucking foot. So
yeah, and our bones get weaker as we get older. Like, we don't age well.
no,
We do
no.
not age well.
So like
But you
get to
can
the
if you
gym,
try.
people.
Yeah, you can if you try.
Yes, strength training, resistance training. I encourage everyone to do it. I don't know that I'll be lifting a barbell up for a while, a few days, or yeah, it's really my back there and
Yeah.
whatnot. But anyways, that hopefully heals up well. We'll see how tomorrow goes. I'll give a little update of my face. See if it gets better or worse.
I think I'm gonna need that.
Yeah, it's one of
Like,
those things where I don't know. It's like that it's initially fat and then it goes down, or if it's one of those that's like it's gonna be a lot worse tomorrow. 'Cause
yeah.
I feel almost like when you go to the dentist and it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
this side of my face isn't gonna smile anymore.
Dude, it's sticking out like in the, like a half an inch at least.
I know, isn't it crazy? It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God. But anyways,
I'm just glad you are okay.
same shit
For
happens
now.
and it's just very very nice when you can walk away from it, even though you may be scathed, but at least it was walking away from it, because that's my biggest fear is like not. But
yeah, 1000%.
so next week though we're supposed to have our friend Tori on, and I'm really excited about that because I mean, we'll give you all background obviously on the episode, but she's someone I've wanted to have on the podcast since like we started it, and she has her own podcast, the Homefront podcast. She's a mother of 5 and has her own business, and I'm just going to be really excited to talk to her next week. So I guess the point of me telling you now is that if anyone out there who is a mom and you know, running their own business or even just working and just trying to figure out how, you know, to like do it all, and you have any questions for us, like send them to us via whatever email or Instagram, because Tori has definitely got some systems down, and everybody works differently. Obviously not all of our lives are the same, our setups aren't the same, and you can't just simply like do what someone else does, but
exactly.
Sometimes you just need but sometimes you just need a little support, and hearing it from someone who is like doing it and making strides can be helpful. And she can still give plenty of tips to working mothers, to non-working mothers. I mean, you can too, Amber. You're a freaking mom and who's worked full time and gone to school and done all that. So I'm excited too for you guys to be able to like share your motherhood experiences.
And I haven't ever met her before.
What? Oh, you froze. Oh, you're back.
I've never met Tori.
I can't believe that. Not a single time in passing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she came to the palace.
If you met her, crossed paths in person, it's been at least a decade. Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah.
But a decade and like 6 kids all together, like later.
An eternity. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also hopefully we'll have our down the line later in the summer, Zoe from Outdoor Women's Wellness on. So I'm excited about that, and maybe we can talk more about bike fits and whatnot. So my bike that's all been feeling good. I did feel a little like I might have to adjust my saddle a little bit now that I've been riding uphill more than downhill. I have to make a little bit of an adjustment, but the riding of it has felt pretty good with just minor adjustments. So
speaking of your bike, how is your bike post crash?
I think fine. It felt fine on the down. Like I didn't see anything majorly crooked or broken or whatnot. But I also wasn't paying too much attention as I was just trying to get out of there. So I'm hoping that when I get on it next, or when I can eventually get it out of my truck, because I cannot lift it right now, I'll have to have
Yeah.
Andrew take it out for me. I could barely get it in. I went to go put it in and I was like, oh, and just like keeled
Oh.
over in the parking lot. And then I was like, okay, let's take a breath. And I literally like squatted it up. Like I bent down like a squat and like lifted it up so I didn't have to lift my arms like as far over. I was like, well, I could put the tailgate down and just slide it in. But I was like, no, I'm putting it in. But again, that's when I still probably had all the adrenaline and stuff rushing through my body. But yeah, so I'm gonna ask him probably tomorrow to like, I don't know, ride it around a little and see, because even before the crash too, so like I said, the climb was an hour, so I had a lot of time to think, and I was like, oh, maybe before I go, like a week before I go, I'll take it to the shop and just have it all looked over, serviced, everything, little like fluid check, lube, all the stuff. And as I was writing down, I was like, should I just go right now to the start house and just bring in my bike and be like, look, I don't know if anything's wrong, but I can't check it out right now, can you? And I was just like, no, actually, I should just go home. I should just go home. Like, what am I doing? Just fucking go home. And like, I gotta work anyways, and now I'm a little bit behind because of this situation. But yeah, so anyways, made it home, and like I said, made it through the work day, and probably have a few more things I could do, but I also have some of those tomorrow, because I'm like, how much can I get done at this point that I'm starting to slip off the focus realm?
Yes. Well, I think you've been doing a great job. I've been enjoying listening to you talk about stuff and things. You've done a really good job of keeping track tonight.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I seriously though, all I can think about, like, if I let my brain drift for like a second, is laying in bed with some sort of show on whatever streaming platform and ice cream. I want ice cream so fucking bad. And I think it's because of like where my chest hurts. Like it's, it's not my throat or anything, but being that my chest hurts like it could when you have a cold and you're like congested, and you can just feel that when you breathe, it kind of hurts. So I think maybe that's why I'm like craving ice cream and cold. It's like, God, if I had a trough with some ice right now, I would just be like slithering in that.
Yeah.
Taking a little ice
Speaking
bath.
of ice, maybe you should ice your face a little, or like body your chest.
Yeah.
Or your shoulder. Is that the shoulder that you had surgery on?
No, it was my other shoulder, which always like was also like a little bit loosey goosey, but not as bad as the other. But the way I hit too felt like more on the back, and like the shoulder blade, like not like it didn't land weird where it would feel like anything was dislocated. But gosh, it's just so hard after one of these crashes when you just don't know like what's sore versus what might be injured more seriously. Because after I laid down for a bit and went to get up and just moving in certain positions, I'm like, oh my God, did I crack my shoulder blade? But I'm sure it'd be in a lot more pain. But I'm just a hypochondriac, so I just think about all those things and instances, like, is there a rib out of place? Like, how long do you wait before you go to the doctor? But because like when I broke my finger, I waited like 2 weeks before I went to the doctor, and they were like, oh yep, it's broken, and wanted to do surgery, and I'm like, no. But so I'll give it the weekend, and if by Monday I'm really struggling, then I might go to urgent care and be like, I think I need an x-ray.
Yeah.
But
don't wait that long.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what urgent care's hours are on Sunday and Saturday, but because I think then it might. That's true. We'll see what happens when I wake up in the morning. But what is new with you? I don't remember if we talked about last week your work.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I don't think I quit the property management and I got a job with the county as an extra hire in the construction and did I freeze?
You did, and I was just about to screenshot your face because it was so fucking funny. And then right when I was about to press the buttons, you came back to life.
Oh man, I wish I would have seen it. I love
me too. I know. I wanted it so bad, but and I can never really tell on the recording, like how it turns out on the Zoom, but it wasn't too long. But so you got a job as a what?
Inspector.
Site inspector.
I inspect sites and
That's very
structures,
cool.
even though I know a little bit, but I'm learning so much more because I'm gonna have to be inspecting things. It's a
Well,
lot. There's a lot going on.
so you're going to be on sites like all the time?
Yeah, for the most part.
Well, at least I know you'll like that better than sitting in front of a computer all
Oh,
day.
1,000. Yeah. I mean, I wish I was in creeks doing habitat surveys, but
This is a
this,
step, though, a step in the
yeah,
right direction. It's out of
totally.
the office in an industry that you don't
Wow.
really want anything to do with.
Yes,
So
1,000%.
hopefully it takes you to, like I said, that just step towards the
Retirement.
water. Yeah, exactly, that too. That
Oh
as
man.
well.
Yeah, I've just been like really over the past year really worried and focused on retirement and like having savings and assets, and I just had this like crazy mental shift about the world. So,
So I actually went to a wealth building seminar the other night, and
cool.
there was a lot of talk about that. I wish there was a lot. I was expecting a lot more information on kind of like budgeting and debt, like making better
Management.
choices and paying it off and like credit moves. And I don't know, it ended up being a lot about real estate because I think the women who put it on were heavily involved in that industry, and they kept trying to steer the conversation like not completely to that, but of course, people would ask questions and just kind of stayed on that. And I did learn some stuff. It's very interesting, like because there's a lot of talk about investment properties,
Yeah.
and but it made me think that way too, of like, because they talked about the importance of having a 401k. Or wait, did they? I also just listened to a podcast yesterday about that, so we might be combining the two. But regardless, between that seminar and this podcast that I listened to about it, it talked about these things that I don't have at
Yeah.
all and don't think
Yeah.
about because I'm like, I don't have money. Like I live paycheck to paycheck and my money's allocated to all this other stuff. Like I can't even like move that money from there to one of these retirement accounts, which is not entirely true. I could probably figure it out and live below my means a little bit more for a little while to get it all sorted out. But God, I just have such a bad relationship with money because we never had it, like, tons of it growing up, and it was never a subject like talked about. I wouldn't say that I had the best examples of how to save or use
A
it.
lot of people don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very impulsive with my money. It's very hard to save, especially because I always have the thought of like, well, fuck this, the world's gonna end tomorrow with so
Exactly. Yeah, I have those thoughts and feels too. But I will say, for your situation, I feel like investing in your property is 100% an asset. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
it is, but I don't have like I just need some of my own
Got it.
assets.
Yep. 1,000%, baby.
But all it made me do too is like this is Andrew and I have over the before we got the property, we were looking at properties like in Washington, and the
Yeah.
idea of having like a little, just like a literally we're looking at like 1 bedroom apartments and stuff like that. Cause I was just like, oh, it'd be so nice and so much easier to go like for short trips, and I could just have stuff there all the time. Like I wouldn't have to pack much, just hop on a hour and a half flight. I have, clothes that just stay there, whatever, and could make short trips, and I could work easier because I have a place that I can go with privacy or whatever to focus and work,
Yeah.
and have like my dogs without having other dogs around, like just have my own space. And then we got the property, and so kind of stopped thinking about that. But I mean, I haven't stopped thinking about it, but it definitely went way back on the back burner as this project came about. But after this conversation, I was like, God, like I just want to look on Zillow and stuff like that for a quote unquote investment property in Washington. But I'm like, well, I want it for myself. So how would I
Yeah. Yeah.
do
Yeah.
like what could I do? Like how could you rent it out but also make sure it's available at any time that
You
I
need it.
wanted to, come up and use it.
Airbnb, man. You can
I
totally
know.
curate the schedule to whatever you need it to be. You just
And
have to plan in advance.
I just don't know enough about Airbnb like in that area because around here it's a very touchy subject and there's a lot of rules coming and laws coming like around it because housing is so hard to find around here. So I don't know like what that's like in Washington. I don't think in Tacoma particularly they probably don't have as many stringent things, but also being a resident of California, like what does that mean? But in all these things that I never strongly felt this like need to own a house or something,
Yeah.
Because again, just with money, I'm like, well, what's it matter? Like and assets and this or that or whatnot. But now I kind of feel like I do want that. Because again, it's like an asset that you at least just have. It's like if I need to sell it, like I can fucking sell it and have the money, the cash, if I ever needed to. And like right now, without anything, like without assets, I don't know if that's what they call liquid assets or not. I don't really understand it all. But
Me either. I'm still learning too.
but yeah, I can't sell anything. Well, and also like with a house, obviously you'd have a mortgage, so it's not exactly like you sell it and you get the cash, but I don't know. It's something that's been on my mind too, and I think that definitely has something to do with us being in our 30s. But it's
God,
crazy
we're
listening
all
to people in their 20s like think about it and worry about it.
shoot.
But I'm
You were too
like,
worried about partying, man.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like, I almost hate hearing about it from them because I am jealous or something that they're thinking that way,
Yeah,
and
let's
I
start,
didn't
man.
have the wherewithal to think like that. So, and now I'm like, oh, here I am, like 35 in a couple weeks, and I don't have like any of these things. But yeah, it's stressful to think about, and especially for you, I'm sure, as just a mom too, of being like, oh my God, like assets, 401k, like setting up my child.
Yep.
So this
Yeah.
job that you have with the county then provides some of those benefits like insurance or
Yes.
401k.
Yeah, if you are full time, but I'm only a seasonal worker. But at least I'm in. It's a work. I mean, eventually I feel like I would like to be in like the stormwater sector of things, or something like that. So I don't know. It's just like my first like peek into the county and all the placements and like how it all works. So it's a step in the right direction for sure.
So it's seasonal. Like do you have like an actual end date or month or anything, or is it just gonna kind of be like see what happens?
We verbally agreed on 6 months. So I'll
Oh,
be
okay.
for the next 6 months.
Well, that's really great then too, because you're not like committing long term to something that might not work out for you, but like you said,
Totally.
and like we said, it's a step in the right direction. It has something on your resume that's back in closer to your field than property management.
1,000% yes.
So so
Oh
awesome.
my
That's good. And
gosh.
so you started this week.
Yeah, I've just been doing like training and bunch of Washington DOT training, lots and lots of that, learning how roads are made, and visiting
Wow.
construction sites. Yeah, and it feels really good to be back on construction sites. Because I know that when I was doing stormwater, I was kind of just like over it or just like not really into it, but this gives me a better insight as to like what actually is going on a construction site
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to just being like, I'm here to make sure that all your water that's coming off this construction site is coming out the tail end clear. And which is it's a great, that was a great feeling. I did enjoy that and I learned a lot too. But yeah, just trying to figure out like my place in this world. And I just like for the people who are 20 and thinking about assets and know what they want to do with their lives, like that's awesome. And they probably did have good role models or people who knew how and the what's and the where's. But like, I honestly just feel like we're all just trying to figure it out, you know? Like,
Totally.
we're all just trying to figure out our place.
And
What works, what doesn't work.
exactly. and this podcast that I listened to that yesterday brought up so many good points that I've heard before too from other money things I've listened to. But like it's not talked about in school, and the things, it's insane that the curriculum really is like the same as it has always been, like American history. And I mean, these things are important, yeah, to know your history, but like, why can't we also stay up with the times and talk more about finances, and not just accounting and how to balance your checkbook, which is pretty obsolete now, but how to like invest, or why it's important in our society, and things like that.
Where
Taxes.
Dollars go.
No one knows how to
inner workings of all that.
Yeah, it's just crazy that more of this information isn't taught to us at a younger age, because the credit card companies just go after you as soon as you're 18. They're like, oh, you're approved for this, you're approved for this. And then, like, I mean, that's what happened to me. It's like, okay, cool. I mean, I still do it, and it's really awful. But it's like I said, I live impulsively.
There's also other systems in place that like immediately put people in debt, because it's like
the college system.
Exactly. Like, what the fuck?
And health. Like, look at how many people can't afford health care. So like, you don't go to the doctor because you can't afford it. And that's honestly, so I need to update my insurance, because I need to update, like my wage or whatever. And I've been avoiding it because I'm going to have to like pay like a lot more probably for insurance. And again, I'm like, I literally can't afford it, even if this one number says it. They're not looking at all the other numbers. And again, a lot of that's because of choice of credit cards or loans or what the fuck ever. But anyways, I'm like, I haven't been to the doctor because I'm like, oh no, what if I go to the doctor and I just don't want to mess up since I haven't used any of my insurance this year. I'm like, okay, maybe I can change it without getting any penalties. But if I use it, then I'm worried I'm going to get penalized. So yeah, it's just all fucked up. I definitely encourage anyone, as I need to do, that does struggle with finances, to just fucking learn more about it and try and find a system that works for you, because just budgeting doesn't always, but
especially as intimidating and taboo of a topic that is in our society, and like everybody's relationship with it, I mean, relationship with you and your partner in it, like, also taboo, and we don't like to talk about it, but it's so important. Speaking of, there's a really good documentary on Netflix about finances, and it shows like people from all walks of life and how they manage and deal with their money, and then communicating. It's called like My Rich Life or something like that.
Is it a series or one documentary? Oh, okay.
It's like a documentary series, so it like follows these people's lives through a certain amount of time. So there's probably like 6 shows of it.
Cool. Maybe that's what I'll go watch right now.
There you go. It was so good. I was hooked. I binge watched it.
I just had a conversation too the other day. It's interesting that this is just what's happened all this week. Just randomly ran into like a old kind of coworker, a fellow yoga teacher. We like taught at the same studio for a while, and we just started talking in the line for the coffee shop, and it really got just like deep and like serious, not like serious, but it was just so unexpected, starting off of like, how are you? How's your day? And we just totally just started like going off to each other and sharing like all these feelings and thoughts and stuff. But what came up in our conversation was I told her about a book that I have listened to on audiobook. Like, this will be my 3rd time, because after I left her, since I had it up on my phone, as soon as I got in my truck, it started playing, and I was like, well, fuck it, I'm going to listen to it, because I feel like I can always listen to this. But it's called You Are a Badass at Making Money. And it's from Jen Sincero. I think I pronounced her last name wrong, but I think Hillary told me about her years ago, and it started off with a book of You Are a Badass. And so she has a few books. But so I guess I would say it's in this, the You Are a Badass book is in like the self-help category, kind of. But it was just really good and uplifting, and it's different from some of like what you may think they are, especially because the language she uses of like the name of the book in itself, like You Are a Badass. Like, it's not just some like kind of fluffy like self-help book or anything. And then because she struggled with money until like her 40s, didn't had a bad relationship, and it's one of those things, like, you can take if you actually put some of her tips into action, I'm sure it would help. But because I listen to a lot of these things and then I don't do the things recommended or whatever, but listening to it at least like inspires and motivates, and that's why I think I could listen to it over and over, because until I actually get my shit together and get the hang of it, then like it's going to be worthwhile to listen to. So I would say, like, for sure, if anyone out there listening also kind of struggles with that, I would give that book a listen. For me, it was one of those books that's definitely easier to listen to than to read. So I recommend it as an audiobook. I know some people don't like that or can get really turned off by the narrator, but it was easy for me to take in chunks that way, listening to. And then you can also then that way go back to, if you remember, like, oh, that chapter resonated with me and I need to re-listen to it or whatever, you can do that a little bit easier. And so just listen to it on the go. So I'll link those two in the show notes. It's so funny how this conversation started with like no really place to go, a terrible bike crash, and then now just finances. But I'm glad it kind of went to somewhere again where I feel like people can resonate with and not feel like they're the only one struggling with it, especially at a certain age, maybe feeling like I should have all this and I should have all that and I have fucking nothing. Like, well,
I feel like it's a good segue also into Tori's episode.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Like, we
Super.
planned this.
Yeah, right? Yeah, we don't plan that well, but we try. But yeah, like I said, it's one of those topics I know people can relate to. And if you are at a point in your life of feeling down about yourself, or not having finances figured out, or not owning a house or this or that, it's like there's no point to think about, I wish I would have done it years ago, like, because now is now, and it's not too late to start acting. Start changing things now instead of putting it off. But I'm just saying this out loud because I'm mostly talking to myself about it.
I'm here, I'm listening.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm like, what I mean is I'm just telling myself, like, I need to hear it, so this is why I'm saying it, is like, I need to take my own advice. Yes, absolutely. Maybe we'll find a finance advisor or, expert or something that we could have on sometime too. So if you know any women who are professionals in that field, people, send them our way, because I would love to hear from someone like that. So I should write that down as soon as I can, like, turn my body and find something. I'll have to move this computer first. We'll look for someone. That would be a lovely conversation to have. But Amber froze again, but not in a funny position. It's just normal. So anyways, oh, there she is. I was just about to say, I don't know, I might wrap this up myself real quick. But we will wrap it up just because we did pretty good after.
Oh, dude, you look like you rocked your body today.
It's gonna suck to sleep because of the way that I sleep on my side and or stomach, and I'm like, to move, I have to like move my whole body, so I am gonna have to ask Andrew to dig out like some of these pillows, and I feel like I'm gonna have to make a pillow fort to just like keep me like in a position and have support all around me. I'm definitely not looking forward to sleep. It's gonna be very uncomfortable, but that's all right. But
thinking of you, cutie.
Yeah, thanks.
Glad you're okay. I'm glad you walked away.
Yes, same. And just remember, walk the course first. Yeah. Look at things, because that was so dumb. I just to assume that was stupid. I should know better on that trail, but whatever. Anyways, yeah, so next week we will have Tori from the Homefront podcast, and she has a real estate business that if I was better, I would have her name there. But like I said, she'll be on next week, so we'll have all that linked there, and we'll get to talk to her. And so if you have any questions that you would like to ask her, or anything like that, you can email us and message us those before next week, and we'll try and get them answered for you. Otherwise, we will talk to you then.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and would do us a huge favor, since we don't have any sponsors or anything like that, and would rate and review us on whatever platform it is you use, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, whatever it is. And if you're listening and downloading just through the website, tearingituppodcast.com, leave comments. We'll definitely engage back with you. And on social media right now, we're just on Instagram. Tearing It Up Podcast is the handle. Like the post, share the post, comment on the post, whatever it is you got. Show us your love so we just stay relevant and show up in the rankings at all. So again, rate and review, please. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.